What about quickly on the transgender issue? If the Supreme Court rules that basically states can't pass laws or local communities can't pass laws that allow biological males to compete in girls or women's sports, what does that do politically coming into the midterms? Because again, we've talked about this many times. Democrats have got to come up with a better answer than, well, that's not that important to talk about. Let's talk about something else. At some point, you got to talk about the substance of that issue.
This is one where it's the Democrats who need a loss, right? This is one where the Democrats would politically benefit by a loss for their team at the Supreme Court and being told no. And that way,
so they could rally against what they would portray as the bias or the unfairness.
They would
right-wing court.
They would do what Republicans did on gay marriage, what Democrats have done on the matter of abortion after the Dobbs decision, where, just as you say, you now have someone to blame and you can talk about that. But more importantly, so the problem that Democrats have on trans issues is it is a small number. The interest group is much smaller than the interest group was on gay marriage, and it's much smaller than the interest groups are on abortion. But they are vocal, they're well organized, and they are radical. And so the problem that Democrats face when trying to come up with, we watched Abigail Spanberger just be unable to engage with this question in Virginia. It turned out it didn't matter because the tide was so heavy against Republicans.
Yeah, she played that card.
Yeah. And so she just sort of ran out the clock on the trans question. But that won't feed the bulldog for 2028. That's not good enough.
No.
And a Supreme Court decision here would be a powerful tool for, let's say, Gavin Newsom to say, talking to activist groups, well, I mean, that the Trump Supreme Court.
But didn't Gavin Newsom himself come out on the side of I actually oppose?
Well, you'd be surprised to hear that a politician tried to have it both ways. Gavin Newsom, and he may have updated his stance, but what I heard Gavin Newsom say was, "I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
I get why.
What he said.
I get why.
I feel your pain.
People don't like it, but what are you gonna do?" And
so you're saying if the Democrats lose, it's sort of like what happened, what happens when the dog catches the car, right? Republicans fought so many years to overturn Roe v. Wade and finally overturned it. And then they started to realize, even though obviously they're super happy about it and continue to be super happy about it, it takes away that political cause.
Well, what it takes away is your ability to say to your own voters. So for Republicans, for almost my whole life, they were able to say, "Oh, Roe v. Wade. I'm with you, brother. But what can you do about Roe v. Wade?" And the Supreme Court said, "Okay, do what you want," which meant that pro-life activists in all 50 states were able to go to their Republican lawmakers and say, "All right, let's go."
Yeah.
Right. So like in Texas, for example, Ken Paxton, one of the reasons Ken Paxton is leading John Cornyn in their primary down there is that Ken Paxton has taken the hardest possible stance as the state's attorney general on abortion. Going to prosecute people who mail abortifacient pills into Texas. Going to go hard, right? And the Republican base digs it. How will the general electorate in Texas feel about it? And so my point is that for Democrats, if the Supreme Court rules against transgender athletes participating in male or females, I guess it's not a problem the other way, but yes, trans women, trans females participating, or trans males participating in female sports. If they do that, that puts them in the politicians in the safe row space, which is decry the decision, denounce the Supreme Court, and then be able to say to your activists, what can you do? I wish I could.
And I would say
walk away from it.
And conversely, if for some reason they were to rule the other way, that probably would help Republicans. They would really get so fired up.